The major publicity revolved around the custody of their twin sons. Barker knew that Susan was scheduled to go to Hong Kong for location filming, and he tried to use that against her. He told the judge that it wouldn't be in the boy's best interest to be dragged off to some foreign country. Well, the judge agreed, and he ordered Susan Hayward to leave the boys in the United States, and that was the dilemma. Susan didn't want to give up the children, but she had to honor her commitment to the studio. Now, Fox producer Buddy Adler agreed to a surprising compromise at this point. While Clark Gable and the rest of the company did go off to Hong Kong, Susan could remain in Los Angeles with the children. This way she'd be able to make a movie set in Hong Kong without ever having to leave California on the sound stages. Well, it sounds like a movie magic miracle, especially in those days when they had no computers. So scenes in which she is supposedly in Hong Kong were actually shot against a process screen, like a blue screen back in those days, and then that was blended together in the laboratory, and it was done so skillfully that it's really very hard to tell the special effects from the real thing. You look for them, you won't be able to find them. Here are Clark Gable and Susan Hayward in Soldier of Fortune. 44 years ago, 1954, which I remember because I was married in 1954. Well, anyway, at the age of 53, Clark Gable was still a very formidable box office draw. He was afraid his age might be a bit against him, but the movie-going public still felt that he was the ideal hero. Now, free from his MGM contract, he worked as a freelance actor, and 20th Century Fox offered him 10% of the box office gross with payments spread out over a number of years for tax purposes. A deal that he couldn't really resist. Now, Clark Gable's old stand-in, Lou Smith, and his old makeup man, Don Robertson, were part of the cast and crew. While they were working on location in Hong Kong, they stayed at a place called the Peninsula Hotel. It's considered to be one of the top 5 hotels in the world. After weeks of dining on the finest international cuisine, they just wanted some good old American food. Somebody found some sausages someplace, which they decided kind of tasted a little like hot dogs, especially at that distance from home, and they were right. So what, this is true, with these fancy hotels, they started a fire in the living room, and they had an old-fashioned Texas weenie roast. They'd never get away with it today because now they have smoke detectors, but in those days, who would know? Now, let's watch this.
The preceding was sponsored by Royal Caribbean.